All right, what's up, everybody? Did you guys just notice how I woke up Brian Hale?
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't see that coming,
Yeah,
did
it's
you?
about 4 a.m, but sure, we're good.
All right, so every month we're doing pretty good. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
we're
we've
getting
done this every month. We're trying to bring leadership to the mortgage industry. Brian Hale, legendary CEO. Now he's coaching a lot of CEOs and a lot of executive teams navigating this marketplace. We were going to do this last week, but we decided to do it live here for a couple of reasons. One, just cool doing it live.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then two, this is a pretty special event, in my opinion. I want to hear your thoughts on it, but this is HousingWire annual. Clayton Collins acquired Realtrends, which has put on the legendary Gathering of the Eagles, which some of the top real estate leaders have come to for decades. Like who's who in real estate has been coming to the Gathering of the Eagles. I went to it last year. And it is truly the innovators and the forward thinkers
I
in real
remember when it
estate.
first started in the early 80s.
Do you really?
Yeah, I had some friends who were part of the original 21 real estate firms that were the Gathering of Eagles. So
Yeah. I mean, it's legendary. And
like that guy was at my wedding 39 years ago.
he's just dated himself.
Exactly. Well, I just had an anniversary on Friday. So
Yeah. Congrats on that,
yeah,
Brian.
thanks. 39 years, man.
Boom. In mortgage?
No,
Oh, anniversary.
anniversary. My wife.
Anniversary.
Yes.
Well, big
my wife-
congratulations.
My wife might say, yeah, in mortgage too, but yeah, exactly.
So, but this is the first big event that in a very meaningful way has some of the biggest players in mortgage and real estate. Yesterday we had CEO of Keller Williams on stage. Not going to list all the names, but it was who's who in real estate. And it couldn't be more fitting with NAR. This NAR settlement is going to bring mortgage and real estate together under housing. So Clayton Collins, thank you for acquiring some of the biggest the biggest media assets in mortgage and real estate. And thank you for how you're putting them together. I am grateful to you for doing that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I couldn't agree more. I was, as you know, I post regarding my newsletter every Monday morning. I was recording it yesterday afternoon. Actually, I called you out in the video because you were out yesterday doing a walk and talk with.
You saw that?
Yeah, with one of your clients, exactly. And so I called out Clayton as well and his entire team. I think they've done a phenomenal job putting this together. First of all, we're at the Marriott Camelback in Scottsdale or Paradise Valley, Arizona, which
nice place.
Let's just say that. Outstanding place. And they were gracious enough to get a great spot. So I appreciate it. And I have the opportunity, I'm Stan Middleman, the founder and CEO of Freedom, and I are going to be the keynotes on Wednesday morning here at the event. And so we're excited about that. That should be an entertaining session as well. But I think there's the combination, to your point, of real estate, mortgage, there's title folks here, vendors from all over the industry, a lot of players, some folks that I haven't seen in quite some time, to be honest with you. So it's a great spot for everybody to get together. And a little toasty yesterday aftoon for the cocktail hour.
It was very toasty.
About 97,
to the 90, yeah, high
99. Somebody said it reached 100 in Phoenix. A little toasty, but other than that, it's all good. It's great to be.
And we were not in shorts and sandals,
exactly.
but we wanted to be. And
exactly.
And if I had it to play over, I would have been.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt about it.
Yeah. So guys, Brian and I are trying to bring leadership on a monthly basis. I personally am focusing on the producing manager with a lot of the content. There'll be a post on LinkedIn later today. Every Monday, I'm before noon, got to win by noon, get a post that's for producing branch managers. I have been thinking about starting to do that on Sundays. I just feel like I'm going to get more engagement on Mondays, but let me know if you think I should push that. Hey, producing managers, this is the homework assignment for today. I actually recorded that with Clayton Collins yesterday, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you're following this guy on LinkedIn. He is pure gold. If you want to get inside the head of one of the greatest CEOs of all time, who's coaching some of the top CEOs and what he's putting on LinkedIn, this is the guy to follow.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that.
So, strategic update. You could go economy. You could go strategic.
To your point, Dave, there are a lot of issues going on out there today between the NAR settlement with the commission issue, and there's a lot of kerfuffle kerfuffle. How's that for a word? Early in the morning.
I've never heard that word.
Yeah, exactly. I think, we just saw, as you and I discussed, I think a couple of months ago, maybe on one of these updates, we saw the agencies come out and affirm that buyer paid commissions won't count against, interested parties if the seller pays them, right? It won't affect the 3% and 6%. So I think we're starting to see some of the, not just the event of these commission lawsuits and settlements and that kind of thing on the real estate side, but we're starting to see the industry, both industries, kind of react down that side. I actually just sold a piece of real estate yesterday. I sold my lake house in Texas yesterday. And one of the things I did in the listing of it is I indicated that the seller was paying the full commission. And the minute we changed the listing out to that piece, we got a rush of viewings.
Interesting.
Signed a contract yesterday. So there's a lot going on there. And mortgage, look, some folks who have followed me for years on LinkedIn or other social media have been reaching out to me maybe over the last 18 months saying, dude, when did you ever get so bearish? Because I'm generally a pretty positive guy, an upbeat guy. And
wait, they don't know that you could be a bear sometimes?
Yeah, well, people know that. But
okay.
A little bearish about the market, meaning that, look, I think 2024, a lot of people hoped, we came into this, we saw the rate improvement late last year. We saw a little, it retarded a little bit early in the year. And now what we've seen, I think it was last Wednesday, whatever day the CPI print came out.
Right. It was
one of the 10 highest days ever in terms of rate moves in the bond market ever.
It was brutal.
Right? In one day. Right. And so when I left my room this morning, the 10-year was at 463. There's more chatter.
I'm not checking text. I'm checking the market.
Yeah. There's more chatter as to whether or not only will that be 6 rate cuts this year, then it went down to 3, then it was down to 2. Who knows at the end of the day, right? What the Fed's going to do and what the data is going to suggest. But because the Fed is data dependent and they've made that crystal clear, they're going to really watch the data. There is a not zero chance of a rate increase yet this year. All this, and who knows? I'm not a big guy to forecast rates. I have a view. I do think rates will be perhaps mildly lower in the second half of the year than they are now. But the short version is that 2024 is still going to be a very challenging year in real estate, in mortgage. We still don't have enough inventory. Last year, we just barely crested 4 million sales in the U.S. My personal opinion, I've seen some estimates at 5 million this year. I think we're going to have a hard time getting back to 4.
Really?
I think 4 million might be the upside this year. And so through that, all that to say, the stuff you're working on coaching, producing managers, your sales folks that you work with, the folks I try to put out, to me, it's all about trying to help people in these very difficult times. I don't think we get some wind-aided boost of a big refi boom that bails us all out. I've seen it in companies. Some companies are capitulating. I saw Jeff Walton at Ingenious the other day posted, the number of originators by year. That continues to drop. I think we'll continue to see drops. All that to say, people who are really focused on the right things in this business, who are true pros, who are focused on using data to identify where they should be putting their marketing efforts. I know your firm puts a lot of effort around that side as well. Using data, understanding what's really going on in the market and exemplify themselves as true professionals are still being successful. I still see originators out there doing 2, 4, 6, 8, 12 million in a month period of time.
No,
it's a somewhat of a shrinking pool. And I just have this view that if you're a true pro in this business and you make it through what has been 22, 23, and 24, I believe the future is unbelievably bright. We just need the Fed and the data and the markets to align to begin to give us a little rate improvement. I saw and I don't want to drop all these names here, but I saw a post from John Burns, puts out a lot of economic stuff in housing. And he had a survey done of what rate do you need to see as a buyer before you're going to really engage in it. And included people who owned real estate, who of course would list and create inventory, which is the biggest problem we have out there is no inventory, right? 5.49 or less.
Yeah. Well,
everything above 5.5, then the bar graph drops off.
I debate. I think anything with a 5.
I agree with you. I think anything with a 5 handle will begin to ignite the market.
Right.
Clearly, if you got into the low 5s, I think the market explodes in that basis. And then, of course, what's going to happen, the industry has shrunk to a point. We're going to have a difficult time as an industry dealing with the capacity, just like we saw in 20 or 21. So this is, I've been doing this 42 years. Boom, bust, boom, bust, boom, bust. We had a very long boom. We've had an extraordinarily long bust in the market. And I still think as things, rationalize going forward, I'm a bull on the market over the next 5 to 10 years. That hasn't changed at all because of the demographics. But I do think 2024 is going to continue to be a difficult year in both businesses.
Concur. Yeah, no, I can't debate with anything that you just said. I want to call out a few things that Brian said, and I want to add a data point that's been talked a lot about at this event. It's something I believe that's an important event, important data point that real estate needs to pay more attention to. But the data and the demographics continue to point to a very strong real estate market. And they do point to a boom, when we get into the fives. Although I have I interview top producers, and I have noticed that they're killing it. Like,
Okay.
I am interviewing people, and I think it's a combination of, one, survivor benefits. There's less loan
less
officers,
competition.
involved,
Yeah,
survivor
exactly.
benefits.
Right.
And then I do think the market is getting kind of used to high rates. It's not like
By the way, I agree with that. I think people who need, I mean, think about it. I mean, housing is one of the three basic needs, right? I mean,
Right.
you have to have shelter at the end of the day.
right.
And some people do it for investment and others, but most people do it to live in with their family and to have
Yeah.
nobody wants a mortgage, by the way. People want a home, right?
Right.
That's the mortgage is just the price you pay to get a home. And so people want homes. I think there has not been a shortage of demand, notwithstanding the interest
Right.
rates. I think people are beginning to rationalize. I think sellers are beginning to rationalize that, look, if I want to move up and I want to get to the next house, or I need to get a bigger house, I'm going to have to bite the bullet. And then I'm going to have to look to a smart originator and real estate professional to help me use the tools that are available, be it buy downs, be it other kinds of approaches, to help me facilitate the sale of my house, the acquisition of the next house, and to begin to move on. So I agree with you. I think that piece is starting to happen. We're not getting it aided by the Fed, by the markets, or anything else at this point. So,
By the way, I'm looking up an interview that I did. I just wanted to get the name right and the market that this originator was in. But I interviewed a guy. It was the first time I've interviewed him. Pretty sure he was in the Boston market. Anyways, his name is James Allen, and it's in my YouTube channel, and it's how James Allen is closing over 28 loans in this market. And he's with Movement. It's a great interview. I'll put a link down below. But he said
he was part of the company in Boston, I think, that Movement acquired.
Yeah, with Brian Koss. Brian Koss,
exactly.
and
Right,
Brian Koss,
right.
I know.
Brian used to work for me, as did James.
Yeah.
So,
But by the way, Brian Koss, is he a GOAT? I mean,
he's
one
a
of
great guy.
the all-time greats. When he was with Countrywide, I think they were he took that region from nowhere to
look, Brian and
domination.
Jimmy Camosa and those guys ran the Northeast and
they were all mortgage coaches. By the way, Brian is the one who helped get Countrywide to approve MortgageCoach.
Yep.
It was only MortgageCoach and Act were the only two softwares approved outside of your proprietary stack.
Right.
Brian Koss, thank you, brother. He also told me I need to interview this guy. And he's a mortgage coach. And I asked him, like, why'd you, this is before the interview. I'm like, why'd you start using MortgageCoach? Because he was killing it before MortgageCoach. And he's because it helps me go beyond selling rates and sell net worth. And I'm like, oh, tell me about that. And I was looking at his sales process and how he's helping families, build wealth faster and show them how through the real estate investment, they can achieve financial freedom faster. And then, we've seen we've known this data for a long time that the average net worth of a renter in America, I think in the last report, was $10,400.
It's like 90% or something under.
And the average net worth of a homeowner is like $398,200. I mean, it's and then Realtor.com just came out and said it's 40 times the net worth. So let me test this thesis on you. And today's morning message is going to be stop selling loans and homes and start selling how your advice helps people build net worth faster and how it helps them achieve financial freedom faster. Like if mortgage and real estate really started focusing on beyond the transaction, like we can't help but talk about the transaction. Like I know all you realtors want.
That's the output. That's not the input.
But would you agree?
I totally agree. Look, first of all, whether you're an originator, you're a real estate professional, whatever the case would be, I'll come back to the comment I just made, which is nobody wants a mortgage, right? I mean, you don't wake up in the morning and go, damn, what I need is a couple more mortgages, right? To make a payment on, right? That's not what's going on out there. And we tend to focus, to your point, on that process, as opposed to focusing on getting a home for your family. Let's start there, right?
We need shelter.
Being a place where memories happen, where things
happen,
where equity gets, to your point, where equity gets created, right? There was this is a great old story. I won't tell you the whole story, but this woman had bought a house, got a mortgage. Somebody helped her get a mortgage very early in life up in East LA. And she had pictures. She presented the originator 20 years later, a book of pictures and notes of her children growing up in this house. You know how people do the marks as people get older on the door frame, that
I
kind
got
of
one of
thing.
those.
And then use the equity in the house to put both kids through college. One's a doctor, one's a lawyer. Change that family's trajectory in life. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Mortgage and the products and the services and the technology we have today are tools to achieve that, right?
Right.
We need to focus on that. That's wealth creation. That's family adhesion. That's community adhesion. That's getting people into a home. Mortgage is just the tool you get there. And I think a lot of times in conversations, we tend to focus on, you know, the feature benefit sale. I bet I can do this, I can do that, I can do all these kinds of things. Try this. What are you looking for, right? What's important to you? Let me then use the tools and knowledge I have to help you achieve it. Be it wealth, be it home ownership, be it, you know, a place for your family to grow up and to create memories and do those kinds of
And
things.
achieve financial freedom.
Absolutely.
And help your kids get into home ownership. There's so much equity in America that, you know, every family should be planning, how am I going to help my kids achieve home ownership?
Think
Which
about
is,
if a first-time home buyer in late 21 or early 22 bought a house, in many markets in America today, that house is up 40% in value.
Mhm.
Instant equity. If you paid 350, 400,000 for that house, in a lot of markets, you've picked up $100,000 worth of net worth.
On the low side.
Right.
Yeah.
Being a homeowner.
Right.
You've picked up tax benefits, you picked up all the rest of it that goes with it, right? And so that, to me, those are, when you talk about, you know, you all are on brand, man, mortgage coach. If you want to be a mortgage coach to your consumers and your clients, that's the vocabulary we need, not, hey, I got another 3 deals.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about a deal. Nobody's looking for a deal, by the way.
No doubt. So tell me what you think of this advice. I put this in my message that, because I've been interviewing top realtors. I've interviewed the #1 realtor in America. I've interviewed a lot of realtors that are going to be winners in the future. They're process driven and they are delivering value in the transaction and beyond the transaction. And they're all telling me that they look at their more than ever, like in the past, like close the loan on time with the least amount of drama, and my customers love you. That was the table stakes for who they work with as a lending partner. And now those are table stakes, but they're going to be looking who can help me convert that buyer into a buyer agreement, who can help communicate my value, who can help, you know, edify me as a third party trust agent. And by the way, who can help that consumer show the net worth gain of the home they're buying? So if it's a rent versus own, show me renting versus owning in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. If it's a move up, show me how renting out my current home and moving up, how that performs 5 years, 10 years. Or if I have to sell it, show me what that looks like to my net worth. So I think every mortgage professional needs to be a mortgage advisor, and then they need to go to realtors and kill the name realtor and turn realtors into real estate advisors.
Yeah, I agree. Look, and it's, you know, look, I think folks who have great real estate relationships like that, typically they work as a partnership, right? It's
Right.
not one starts and ends and the other starts and ends, right? In that part of the process. There's a continuum of a theme right through the process in terms of how they approach the consumer, how they approach the market, how they approach their own education, their own knowledge. And if you can be collaborative in that, I think the consumer sees and feels that instantly.
Right.
And look, and this is, you know, we could spend 2 hours on this. This doesn't count the fact that to the degree you build that kind of professional relationship in terms of helping people identify what they're trying to accomplish in life.
Right.
If you then realize, okay, they have 2 kids that are 16 years old that, you know, in 2 years are going to be heading off to college, and that's in your CRM, and that's in your database, and you know, that go back to them. Can we help you with equity? Can we help you with other things to help finance the next generation's education, be it whether it's college or trade or whatever it is? Those are the kinds of things that begin to build great books of business that become self-sustaining over time, right?
I love that.
That's to me, that time, and you and I have talked about this before. I think one of the things that's happened in our industry that I personally believe it has a place, but it's a bad sales strategy, is this concept where I see originators quoting a rate to a customer because the customer asked, and then sending a link to an application out to the customer. And then you've essentially, and by the way, no knock on my friends at Rocket. I know all those guys are all smart guys. Frankly, they're pretty good at it, right? In terms of, centralized origination. You want to differentiate yourself. What about walking through that application with the consumer so you have a full contextual understanding of what their life is like, what they're trying to achieve, what their family needs, what the next needs are, whether do they someday want to own a vacation home? Do they someday want to own a rental property? Do they invest? All of those things, to invest an hour or two on the front end in an in-depth advisory type conversation, talking about equity and wealth management and growth, those kinds of things. You now have, it's what I do with corporate clients today. You give me your data, I can give you 10 things I can help you with, right?
I like
if
that.
I don't have the data, you're just calling me up saying, hey, Brian, can you help me with this? Yeah,
Right.
Probably.
Right.
Give me your data. I can come back to you with many other things that either I or other of my partners can help you with in that process. Same thing with the consumer, right? Find out what are their needs and issues in depth, and build that relationship.
So write down speed to need. The originator that is going to completely crush the future understands the needs of their consumers. They have those needs in their CRM. They're anticipating those needs. They're using Trust Engine to identify who's most likely to move up, move down. They're anticipating needs. And then they're delivering experiences and presentations to that consumer, showing them, and again, the North Star, it is homeownership with financial freedom. And if you can be an advisor that can cast a vision for a consumer that you're going to help them achieve that homeownership with financial freedom faster and with more confidence and with more clarity, I think you're going to kill it.
Yeah, look, you and I have spent this, I think people maybe, I don't know if they get bored with this, but you and I have talked about the data issue from the very first couple of interviews.
Well, that's how we
together, right?
connected.
Exactly.
Like we're both
right.
data guys.
And so, next week, last 2 days of the week, I'm down speaking to another president's club for a company, right, with a bunch of top producing originators. And as I work through these things, I just continue to ask companies when I engage, whether I'm fully engaged or we're just having a conversation about how I maybe could help. I always ask them a couple of really salient questions, right? Do you, as a head of production, do you as a CEO, do you as a founder, do you as a president know who your salespeople are actually calling on for business? And as importantly, do you know why they're calling on them? What is the basis of the sell, right? What's the basis of the relationship development with the agent, with the builder, with whoever the case, but whatever referral sources, top of funnel type folks you have? Why and who are they working on from a desire to develop a relationship? And Dave, it's disappointing, to be honest, because I tell you, as I move around the industry, very few people can answer that affirmatively and give me a very database answer as to here's why, here's how we do it, here's how I coach, here's the data we use to validate that which we're working on. And so, and you know this, you see it all the time. Companies are investing in marketing and technology and all these things, all the tools.
Yeah.
Who are you delivering them to? Does that person,
Right.
are they in real estate or do they sell real estate?
Right.
You want to differentiate yourself as an
Right.
originator in this business? Call on people who sell
Call
real
people
estate,
that are
who
doing
actually
business.
sell it as opposed to are in it, right? Because in it just means you got a place and a cup of coffee, right? Selling it means you're doing 8 transactions a month. That's killing it. Now, which one would you rather work your butt off to build a relationship with, right, in those processes? And it just drives, I mean, look, if I was running a sales force today, it's the only data I would be using. I would be wanting to understand where, who, and how people are building those relationships, and what can I do to help, right? What are the tools I can do to help that?
And I talk all the time to leaders around how can they turn their database into loans. And I know, because part of our buyer intelligence platform is showing them how many loans they're losing every month. Like that's what we do for our customers. And they're losing too many loans, and they're losing loans at conversion. And most executives don't even really know the size of their database, so guys.
Can I just add a pen to that?
Yeah.
They're not just losing loans, they're losing relationships.
Yeah.
Because now, if the person on the other side who gets that deal is good at building the depth and quality of that relationship's going to become sticky to that other person.
Yeah.
And now, if you look at lifetime opportunity of relationships,
it's astounding.
It's unbelievable. If you do that math, it's scary, right?
Yeah. Total cost of lifetime value of your customers. Exactly. And it is the biggest opportunity in the marketplace. So before we run out of time here, you put out a newsletter every week.
every week.
And how
Fridays.
often are you doing LinkedIn posts? Seems like
Well,
daily.
I do a ton. Look, I probably have 5 things I could post a day. I have a lot of news feeds that I get on an ongoing basis. I'm up early every morning. Somebody referred to it the other, probably there's a book out called the 5 a.m. Club or something
Yeah,
like that,
there is.
right?
It's a book. It's a thing. It's a
I've
good
been,
book, by
I've
the
been a
way.
member of the 4:30 a.m. club for a long time, right?
Yeah.
So I get up and I've good fortune to have a reading room or like a sitting area off my master suite. And I sit there and I read and I catch up on the markets and that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I post. If I don't post every day, it's funny. When I go on vacation, if I take a week off, I get notes saying, "Man, are you okay?" Because I haven't posted, right? But look, we do a video post every Monday morning. We're going to ramp those up a little bit in terms of, frankly, I learned from you and others that are out there in the marketplace. But I post about every day. But the newsletter comes out every Friday, right? And it's contemporary through that day, right? As it comes out, we post it publicly. So if you're a subscriber, you get it on Friday. If you're not, you can see it publicly on Monday. And the reason we put it out on Friday, one of the reasons we put it out is to help arm people going into the weekends. When a lot of times those conversations
They
are
can be
happening
getting
with
smart.
clients, customers, right? People are out looking at houses over the weekend. We want people to have contemporary information that they can use and talking to their clients and their customers on an ongoing basis. So that comes out every Friday, and I do an overview of it every Monday morning on social media. But then we post a variety of other articles, and now look, we're approaching almost 2,000 subscribers on the newsletter. And in that map, we also now are mailing additional curated information to those subscribers during the week that they may see ahead of when I may post it publicly.
And if someone wanted to sign up, get on that newsletter, where do they go?
Well, they can go to my website, which is mortgageap.com. So if you're in the mortgage business and you can't spell mortgage, that's maybe a different issue, but it's MORTGAGE.
You don't need to spell it.
AP.com, right? Mortgageap.com. They can find it there. They can go to LinkedIn. There's a link on LinkedIn that you can subscribe.
So
here's the best part. It's free. You can't beat the price,
yeah,
right?
so check it out.
Right.
Make sure you add both of our Monday LinkedIn. We're both trying to bring value and leadership to the market on Mondays. Check that out. Any closing thoughts before we go into wrap up mode here?
Yeah, look, as I said, I think the balance of this year is going to be a challenge in this process. You know, one of my if I evangelize on anything, it really is around building your personal tool set as an advisor, as a professional in this business, your knowledge, your skill set, to the degree that you do that and you add more value to consumers, to your clients, to your realtors, whether you do digital originations, I don't care how you widen the top of your funnel, your skill set and your knowledge is critical in my view to be a professional going forward. I think this industry is up for immense evolution here going forward. You've heard my metaphor with T-Rex, right? Kind of evolving and or not, or going extinct.
Right.
And to me, the best antidote to going extinct is building your knowledge and skill set as a professional, coming across as a professional, knowing what you know, right? If you went to a doctor and asked them to, diagnose you, and they kind of sort of checked you out and then handed you the big book of doctor stuff and said, here, maybe it's like between pages 80 and 212. You can kind of work it out, right? Yeah. It'd be malpractice, right? To be malpractice, you'd be sued. Our business, we can't have malpractice. We're dealing with people's typically largest investment of their lives. We're dealing with their home. We're dealing with how their family grows up and builds wealth over time. You have an obligation to be a pro.
So I want to close out. I'm doing a lot of interviews. I'm trying to interview more realtors than ever. We actually created a playlist called Getting Ahead of the NAR Settlement. Once the new rules come out and it's clear and it's implemented, we'll change the name of it to Crushing It, Gaining Market Share in this new era. But this week, tomorrow, I'm actually interviewing Chantry. I always wanted to call him a different name, but Chantry, he was the #1 branch manager of the year in Guild. Really special leader. I mean, not only is he a fabulous producing branch manager, but he's turned all of his loan officers into mortgage advisors. Chantry Abbott.
I'm going to guess he's a good coach.
He's a good coach. He's a winner.
Exactly.
So I'm going to be interviewing tomorrow, and it's all about how to turn loan officers and realtors into advisors. And then later in the week, I'm going to be interviewing Chantry again, although I'll have Shayla Gifford with me, and I'll have Carrie Scholl, who is one of the, when she was in the core with Shayla was the #1 loan officer. She was the #1 realtor. She leads over 400 real estate agents today in the DC metro market. She's going to win. And we're going to be talking about how should loan officers and realtors be meeting and working through their sales process together. Like, it's more important than ever that if you're a real estate professional, you're meeting with your loan professional and say, hey, show me your sales process. I need to see
It has to be
what
more than
it
you
looks
have
like.
loans for me today.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that can't be.
Yeah. Like, how are you going to help me convert people into a buyer's agent's agreement? But what I'm going to push everybody to do is you need to go on the offense. You need to go with real estate agents. Go, I want to help you crush it in this new marketplace. I want to show you my experience and how it's going to help edify you, help you get that agreement signed at the maximum commission. I want to see what you do. And you're having workshops where you're working together. So I'm going to be creating content to help you guys do that. Brian, anything else before we let everybody go?
No, look, I appreciate you taking the opportunity for us to catch up here at HousingWire's the Gathering. I would encourage people, if they do, I'm sure they'll do it again next year. This is a great event.
Oh, I will be at this event.
Call out my thanks to Clayton Collins and the entire HousingWire team for putting this fabulous event together and bringing these groups together as well. Because I think, to be blunt, as we go forward as an industry, as a housing industry, the groups need to be more aligned and more collaborative around these issues.
Right.
Because I think, look, you and I've talked in the past about issues coming up with trigger leads and all these new rules and all this. I mean, look, there is going to be regulation.
There's going to be massive change happening.
Evolution, right, in this process. And to the degree that the two groups can work together, I think it's much better, certainly better for the homeowner. It's certainly better for the industry. And for those who focus on those kinds of things, I think the future is incredibly bright.
Yeah. And so here's my closing thought. It was my favorite quote yesterday. It was from the CEO of Keller Williams. And he said, change is inevitable. Growth is optional.
Yeah.
And we want to help you grow. While you can sign up for all these webinars that I'm doing at our website, you can sign up for Trust Engine, get a demo, Mortgage Coach, also savageinsights.com. The very top link is always whatever the next interview I'm doing. The second link is always how to sign up for my mobile club. There's just a number. You put your phone number in, you text the number, and you'll be getting updates for the best content. I try to limit it to 2 or 3 texts a week. And then the second one, or the third one, is it'll be a recording of this, and it'll be whatever the most valuable recording I've done for the week. So check out savageinsights.com.
Gotta give you my favorite quote.
Yeah.
It's actually on the wall of my office at home.
Yeah.
It's actually, it's a title to a great old blues song, and somebody found the 45 disc and had it mounted for me. But the quote goes that everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And the moral in there is everybody wants stuff in life. Very few people are willing to pay the price it takes to get there. Right.
It's true.
And so focus on that, man.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to go to heaven.
Pay the price, everybody.
Nobody wants to die.
Pay the price.
Yeah, exactly.
Take care, everybody.
All
Hope
right.
you got value from today.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.